For the past 26 days, I have been traveling around the country. I started my journey in Abuja and I came to Southern Kaduna. I went to some of the troubled areas historically, and even now, I visited some of the communities, so some of the local tribal communities and the Hausa community, Hausa Fulani community there. And then I also proceeded through that corridor to Plateau State. I spent about a week in Plateau State, visiting so many local governments and places, trouble spot, Barkin Ladi, Mangun, Bokos. I visited most of those local governments. And then from there, I went to Bauchi, started in Tafa, Balewa, visited a few other local governments. And I decided to go to Yankari. And from there, I proceeded to Gombe. I went to the university campus. I asked some of the locals questions about the security situation in Gombe. And from there, I also proceeded to Adamawa, long journey to Adamawa. From Adamawa, I wanted to go to Borno, and people were like, "No, you can't. You have to go back to Gombe and find a way back through Yola or something like that." I said, "No, but there's a corridor through Mubi, Mishika, Medegali, Togoza, which they call the triangle or the corridor of death." I decided to use that route, and I spent a day in Goza. I spent a night in Goza, as a matter of fact, and I, met with the community people. I asked them questions. I interviewed people, and even the night I was there, a lot of gun battle overnight. That reports we had in the morning was that the terrorists were trying to come into town, as they do, constantly probing, because these guys are occupying high grounds on the Goza Hills, and they're also occupying high grounds, because Goza on that on the right hand side, is Cameroon, and then on the left hand side you have the Sambisa Forest. So it's a very strategic place, and from there, we moved to Polka, Limankara. Uh, I mean, if you're coming in, that's what I mean. From Goza to Polka to Konduga, from Polka to Bama to Konduga, and then to Meduguri. And I spent about over a week in Meduguri. And then from there, I was able to visit other local governments like Mafa. Then I visited. From there, from Meduguri, I decided to go through the another dangerous road, by the way, from Meduguri to Damboa, which is where the general was killed against advice. Like, you can't do this. This is dangerous. And by the way, you can see it when you go through that place. The government only claim to control the road. Every other terrain around there, territory is controlled by Boko Haram and ISWAP. They control everywhere apart from the road. But with the road, what they also do is that they make it difficult for people to access that road by putting landmines every single day. The soldiers have to go and clear the landmines. They have to go and survey to make sure everywhere is clear. And then so basically the road can only be used on Mondays, I think Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I think. These are the days you can use the road with military escorts. And then people, because again, it's an economic hub. How do you now want to go to, for instance, you want to go to Biu, which is the second biggest place in the whole of Borno. In fact, Biu town is the second biggest city or settlement outside Maiduguri. So, and if you want to use that corridor, it's faster than going and turning around through Adamawa or going through any other place. So I decided to do that, by the way, because I had a camera guy at the beginning. The first one said he's tired or he's nervous. He went back. The second guy said he's ill. He's tired. He had to also go back. So I did this solitary trip on my own, not understanding Hausa, because I want to understand what is going on in the country. And yeah, this is the situation. The government, I'm encouraging and begging the government to do more for these communities, because most of them are agriculturalists. They are agrarian communities. The government have to do a lot to support them for them to be able to go to their farms. This is all they're asking for. Nobody's asking for handouts. They don't want handouts. They want to be able to go back to their farms.